What's up, fam? Thank you for tuning in. I am Complexity, and this is the Karma of It All podcast, an extension of Complex Intuition, where we give advice, support, and guidance in karmic, traumatic, and toxic relationship situations. Guys, for tuning in. This is Miss Complexity, and you have entered the Karma of It All, which is an extension of Complex Intuition, where we give advice, guidance, and support to those going through toxic, karmic, and traumatic relationships situation. Now, you guys know that relationship is a broad word. You have relationships at work, at home, and with friends. So it's broad. And today we've been talking about intuition, using your intuition, and realizing relationship abuse and using your intuition to get out of it. And I have the wonderful Susan Jane right here on with me. She is going to give us some insight on how we can help our intuition and share her story with us. So, Miss Susan, how are you?
I am very well. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Karma. This is just brilliant. I love it.
I'm glad to have you here. I truly am. So what we're doing today is you're gonna give us some insight. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna give us some tips and some pointers, and you're gonna share your story with us. Can you tell us a time where you had to deal with some sort of relationship abuse that was unseen, and you had to use your intuition to broaden yourself and get out of that situation?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful.
I'm a little bit of a slow learner, Karma. So my 20-year abusive relationship took a little while to sort through and get out. I am more of an empath, I'm more of a introverted person. And consequently, as an empath, we do tend to attract those more narcissistic type of people. So consequently, that's what I did. Now, one of the big things that I learned, and I'm just going to go straight to the jugular here, one of the biggest things I learned in that relationship was the fact that every time something went wrong, I blamed him. I blamed the other person. I was really good at the blame game because I didn't want to look at what I was doing or who I was and where I was going. So it was easier for me to blame someone than it was to actually look at me. And one of the things that we really, really need to do in any relationship, whether it's work, whether it's home, like you said, whether it's a personal, close relationship, or whether it's just a friendship, what we really need to do is look at us, ourselves, look within, because anything that's triggered externally is affecting you internally. And it's the internal aspect of it. So it's not what they're doing, it's how it's affecting you that we need to really, really focus on. So my 20-year marriage probably was going okay for the first 7 to 10. By the time it hit the 12th year, there was some really major cracks happening, and I was getting so emotionally abused that I really didn't know who I was, what I was doing, where things were going. I felt so worthless, so absolutely worthless. And anything I tried to do or I wanted to do or looked at doing, I just felt like it was almost a waste of time. And yet, would you believe, during that period of time, I was actually nominated for Australian Citizen of the Year, which is a huge award that basically I ignored because of the attitude my ex had about it. And again, The other thing I do in my coaching course is I teach trust mastery, so trusting your intuition. And that's all about trusting and understanding our emotions. Because when we're in those sort of relationships, what we're actually doing is taking on their emotions and acting upon their emotions instead of looking at our own. So,
Wow.
yeah, so it's I forgot what the question was, Karma. Sorry. I've gone off on a completely different tangent, haven't I? Look, the first thing you've got to do is stop the blame game and start looking at yourself. That was the first thing I had to do. The second thing is, how do we look at ourselves? Now, in the olden days, as I call it, we didn't have internet, let alone podcasts or videos or anything like that. So I had to do all mine through reading books. Now, reading books, like videos, like podcasts, be discerning about who you're following. Be discerning that person resonates with you, because like Karma resonates with you here, and that's why you're listening here. She resonates with you. So be discerning about who resonates with you. You don't have to believe everything they say. And that's what's really, really important. And the beauty of these podcasts is that people will connect with me. They will connect with Karma. They will connect with lots of other different people. And you take what you need out of that. And that's what we as podcast people are giving to you. We're giving you our information. We're giving you our understanding. But you only take on board what resonates with you. You don't have to take it all on board. And that's a really important step, because when I was learning and reading these books, you almost felt like, oh, shit, I'm doing it wrong again. No, this person's saying I should be doing this. But because, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And because it wasn't resonating with me, I got to the stage where I went, okay, I love what that person's saying. I'm going to take that on board. That really suits well. But I'm not going to follow that side of it. It doesn't suit me. And this is what I think was really, really important. When you're growing, when you're deciding what to do, when you're looking at these relationships and you're wanting to connect with your intuition, make sure it's your intuition you're connecting with, not other people's.
Right.
Just, yeah. Do you? Am I being clear on that? Do you understand what I mean?
Oh yes, I understand what you mean. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, cool. But sometimes you sort of think, oh my, have I gone in the wrong direction or not? But it's really important. So intuition, obviously, it's within us. And the way I look at intuition is it's the communication between our spiritual self and our physical self.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I am so excited for the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And this month we're definitely going to get into toxic mothers. Our interviewees this month will be sharing their triumphing stories on how they healed from toxic and karmic motherhood situations with their mothers and with themselves. I'm so happy to share these interviews with you. Be sure to check them all out. There's going to be several throughout the month, so give a heads up. I love you all, and thank you so much. We are all healing, and as always, each one teach one. Remain true to you.
Now, how I know that we have a spiritual and a physical self is because of some of the experiences I've had. And one of them was during a very, very violent pack rape, where I actually left my body and watched them doing what they were doing to, and I call it her or she, because it didn't feel like it was me. And I remember watching what they were doing and what was going on. And there's no emotional attachment between our spiritual body and our physical body. And yet the spirit body the spirit body has the purpose in life, and that will send emotions, which are energy emotion, they will send that to the physical body to try and get you on the right path. That's why we need to listen to our intuition, because it is always trying to guide us on the right path for your life purpose.
You know what? Because that was the next question. The next
Sorry.
question was, how did you overcome all of this emotional, physically, and spiritually? And I might as well just.
I'm sorry.
You're already there.
Just tell me to stop talking, Karma, when I have to. Sorry.
Girl, you are good. You are so on point. And it is exactly because all of this has to come together and it all guides into one. It does.
Yes.
It leads us and it guides us into one. So what is a great tip for our listeners? What number one tip would you give them that may have been going through a situation where they couldn't, muster it up to use their intuition or get through a situation such as yours?
The first thing I do is, I think I'll just go back to where I was before. It's okay to get advice from people. Make sure that advice sits with you. Now, I know that people had said to me, "Oh, just leave the relationship." But I wasn't ready to leave the relationship. You have to be ready to leave that relationship if that's where you're going to go. Because I can assure you, I left my 20-year marriage, and I assure you, I was still in such a mess after it, because I had to grieve the loss of my future, how I perceived my future to be with my marriage, with my man. And I had to grieve that loss. So don't leave a relationship because somebody else tells you to.
I know that's right.
Yeah, leave a relationship because you're ready to step forward into where you need to go. And it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean you're ready to go. But my biggest tip, this is what I do with intuition. My biggest tip is it's a little 3 steps. It's ask, receive, and action. So you ask. Now you can ask people for help. You can ask spirit for help. You can ask God for help. You can ask universe for help. You can say, WTF, for goodness sake, give me something. So you ask, or you can pray. That's asking. So when you ask for help or guidance or support, you are open to receiving it. And that means that you can see it, you can feel it, you are more aware of it. You're open to receiving it. When you start receiving it, action it. Now, you don't have to do major actions. You do little actions. So if you feel that you're getting these messages from your intuition to say, leave the relationship, you don't have to do it in one big foul swoop. Do it one step at a time. Understand what your finances are. Go along a little bit more, get a little bit of understanding on that. Find out where you can go, get a bit more understanding on that. See what that means if you've got children, what that's going to look like, how that's going to work out. Start to feel it and see it and know it in your head. So then when and if, because sometimes we go through all that and decide that we don't want to go, we want to stay. And that's fine too, because you're not quite ready, or you don't need to, or things are changing. But when you get to that stage, you'll get a better understanding of where you are and how you can get from point A to point B. Don't do it with a big argument and storm out.
Thank you all for your donations. Any amount was greatly appreciated. For those of you looking to donate to my podcast, please by all means visit the donation tab at www.thekarmaofitall.net. Any donations over $25 will receive my special Each One Teach One tea. As always, I thank you all for your support.
Really doesn't help.
Not at all.
No, you've got to be, look, as much as I follow my intuition, I'm still very analytical. If my intuition says to me, which it did do, this relationship is really toxic for you, it took me 8 years to leave that relationship. So I needed to have all my ducks in a row the way I needed to have all my ducks in a row. And if that was crooked, I don't care. That's how I needed to do it. And then once it got to that stage, and I remember for about 12 months, it was like, I'm ready to leave, but I didn't know how to broach the subject. And he actually turned around and said, well, if you're not happy here, we'll sell this house and we'll move somewhere else. And I went, no, I'm not happy here, but I'll buy the house and you move somewhere else.
Ooh.
And that was my that was my opening. Like I had gone through it all in my head. I had to get that understanding. I had to feel comfortable in that I could do that. I needed my power back, and that's how I did it.
Wow.
And again, Karma, sorry, I've talked and talked and talked.
No. You are good. I actually like that. You said it took 8 years for you to get out of your situation.
Yeah.
Same thing with me, honey. But it took place a little different. And I know a lot of women that are in relationships that they don't want to be in. And they really do need that push to, what am I going to do? I guess I might as well just settle and just be here just because. But in the midst of that, you're going to continue to repeat until there is something done.
Yes.
There is something done. So you
Yes.
have to get some sort of clarity. Like you said, use your intuition and ask God. Ask your outer, I want to say outer,
Universe.
yes, the universe.
Yeah.
Ask whoever that you can trust, and you have to be able to trust them. And sometimes you can't trust humans, so you have to sit there and actually meditate and get the answers that you need for yourself to go ahead and see what your next steps are.
Yes. So you're asking and you receive through meditation, so you can receive those informations. But like you're saying, you need to action it. And the actions can be big steps or little steps. Now, people just listening to your podcast are starting to action it. They're starting to get those messages because they're hearing it through your podcast. They're getting those messages. And each time they're listening to you or to somebody like myself or guests, each time they're listening, they're getting stronger and stronger. And they're going to have that ability to then move on. Something will trigger it, and that will be their aha moment, and off they'll go.
Yes, definitely. Not everybody is I call myself an introverted empath, that is introverted because I don't be around people, right?
Yeah.
And so I usually only use the universe to give me the answers that I need. And that's how we get out of this. Also, by listening to podcasts such as ours. Yes, definitely. Make sure you tune in. How can we get in contact with you? How can we, I know you have a podcast out there. What is it called?
Mine's called the Voice of Intuition podcast. It was the Art of Intuition, so you can get it on both of them. I slightly changed it. But my website is Intuitive Nature or theartofintuition.com.au. You've got to use the AU, the Australian business, because there is a book called The Art of Intuition, which is not mine. My book is called Intuitive Flowers. I use flowers as my tool to help me with intuition. So some people will use tarot cards. Somebody
That's
will
me.
use,
That's me.
yeah. Okay, so you use cards. I didn't want to be. I'm being a bit naughty here. I didn't want to be restricted to a deck of cards. So I've created flower images, readings that you pick up from the internet. So there's millions of flowers. And if I just said to you, if your relationship looked like a red rose, what would that red rose look like? And if you Googled red rose, you could have roses that were big in your face, really, really open. You could have a lovely bud rose that was with a long stem. And you have all these different images, and you have to choose an image intuitively that represents your goal, which could be a love goal. So you pick that flower and then you do a reading on it. So there's 16 different elements.
Oh, so you like that, huh? Great. Then I know you're going to like our patreon.com page. Be sure to join the membership at $10.10 per month. We have unedited interviews lasting from 40 to 60 to a half hour long. Guys, you're going to love it. These are unedited and with mad bloopers. Yes, straight raw. That's how we give it. Q&A episodes, giveaways, private live talks, readings, one-on-ones, all kinds of stuff over on the patreon.com page. Be sure to join the membership. And once you do, you'll have access to my new Facebook group. We're all about connecting souls, spiritual healing, and loving one another as we get connected to life. You know how we do over here. Check out the Patreon page at patreon.com/Karmplexity. That's patreon.com/KarmPlexity. See you there.
So that's what I do. A lot of flower readings.
Tarot reading. And that's how I even got into this.
Yes.
Tarot reading. I went to school, but I also do dreams. I dream a lot.
Yes.
So I'm intuitive in the dream world, and divination and all that good stuff. I dibble dabble. But I love it because it's really had given me the life that I have now, and I love it. I love it. Finally coming out.
And we receive those intuitive messages through our chakras as well. Like it's quite special how we receive so many different things. But I'm a real theory tester, Karma. I like to test the theories. You know, if that's going to work, I want to test it, and that's what I've done most of my life.
Love it. I love it. I love it. So I know that you have your website, and I want you guys to tune in and look at the description below or wherever I post this at. You can find it in the description. I'm going to have her link there. Just click on it, and it'll go to all of her social medias, her website, her book, everything, so that it won't be, you have to go everywhere else. Just click on that link and just hit it. So what else do you have for us, Miss Susan? What else do you have for us, listeners?
Oh, okay. So we're talking about relationships, aren't we? So when I'm doing flower readings, when we talk about relationships, we get an understanding with the flower readings. We get an understanding of our emotional goals. So flowers are our goals in life. So when we look at a flower that is about our relationship, if we find that flower is open, the picture we've chosen is an open flower, then we're saying our relationship is open. And we start to look at the center of the flower, and that's the heart center. And we can see our passion and our drive that's in the heart center. So we can get an understanding of what that means to us and where we want to go. But when I'm doing the flower readings, it's really important that, first of all, that you pick the flower, because it is your intuition that's picking the flower. And so we go with that one. But I don't know, with relationships, really the first thing you want to do is look at yourself, really look at yourself and give yourself that time and space to get an understanding of who you are and where you want to go. Sometimes we just want to get out of a relationship because we just want to find something better. We're not content in where we are. So all we're doing is really changing locations. So before you go with changing any locations, doing anything else, find out who you are, because when you know who you are, changing locations is really easy.
Thank you. I needed that because I am right there right now. I'm trying to figure out, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I know who I am now.
Yes.
So where do I go now? What do I do now? I know what
I think, Karma, you need to pick a flower for me.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that, honey. Yes, we are.
You send that to me and I'll do a reading for you. But when you pick that flower, I want you to make sure that's in line with your emotional goals. So your emotional goal, and why I do emotional goals and not SMART goals, because SMART goals are so physical. When somebody used to ask me, what did you want to be when you grow up, which I have no intention of growing up, but what you want to be when you grow up, I always used to say, I want to help people. I didn't have a physical goal. I always had an emotional goal. It had to resonate with me emotionally. And that's why I do the flowers, because they're our emotional goals. So you think about where you want to go. You may not know where you want to go, but what you want to do, how you want to feel when you know you have achieved what you want, then Get that feeling, plant it in your heart, let it grow into a flower. Find that flower on the internet, Google whatever it is, and send it to me and I'll do a reading for you.
Definitely going to do that. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do that right after.
Good girl.
If you feel as if you have been going through toxic situations that may have you feeling all out of sorts, if you feel as if you have been dealing with suicidal thoughts, schizophrenia, or bipolarism, log on to www.mhanational.org and get the help that you need. It is very discreet. No one needs to know your business, but we all would like for you to get help. This organization has been around since 1949 and has reaped great rewards in helping millions of people who have reached out to them just to get on track. I hope this helps you all.